Hey, we're talking about the Fantastic Four first steps up next on Geek Out SA.
Do not attempt to adjust your YouTube video. We control the stream.
And welcome back to Geek Out SA. It's Saturday and we're starting a little late this week. We had dinner plans, early dinner plans
dinner
today.
with our kids, with some of our kids. So,
Yeah.
and we need to. I need to sit up. Sorry, I'm like I just look like a floating head. I never want my camera to be too low so that you see my lonja, but I guess I probably need to bring it down a little bit lower because it's really just like you can kind of just see my neck and my head. It's kind of odd. I didn't think about it, but well, I'm really tall. I'm actually 5'10". You guys only see me sitting down, but I have such a short torso. It makes me seem short.
Yeah.
It makes me seem short, but then when I stand up, it shocks people how tall I actually am. So note to self, note to Vincent, because Vincent's the cameraman. For next week, you need to fix my camera, okay? Because I'm basically just like a floating head right now, and it's kind of weird. So, while Vincent's messing with I don't know what, we are going to talk about Fantastic Four today.
Okay, so here's the thing on Fantastic Four. So, I was kind of excited to go and see it. I've seen the trailer for it. The couple of trailers that they've had so far on it.
Well,
and I've really liked them.
Before you go forward, let me just say this, because if you haven't seen the show before, Vincent loves every single movie he's ever seen except the Fantastic Four.
Well,
literally the one that you bring up the most, that you say
and the
you
new
hate,
RoboCop.
And the new RoboCop. But like more than even RoboCop, you say Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Right? So there is no love between Vincent and the Fantastic Four. The one with Jessica Alba
Was okay.
It was okay. It was, back when they had first started doing that stuff, so we kind of had an acceptance. In hindsight, we have an acceptance of it, right?
So Colleen wasn't really excited to see this at all. I was like, yeah, let's go see it. It'll be great. No, I don't think I'll just like, but it's Pedro Pascal. How can it be bad?
And I'm like, if anything's going to ruin Pedro's career, it's going to be Fantastic Four. Like, it just doesn't have a good track record, right? It just doesn't really have a good track record. It's kind of like Green Lantern. If you think about all the times that they've tried to do Green Lantern and do Green Lantern well, Green Lantern falls short. So I felt like Fantastic Four was the Green Lantern of Marvel, right? Every time they try to do Fantastic Four, they just don't quite get it right. Right? Mm-hmm. So I was not looking forward to going into this.
Here's the thing about that Fantastic Four, because it's owned by Sony, right? It's still owned by Sony?
I believe so.
So they were going to do a new that last movie that was supposed to be a whole thing with the one that we absolutely did not like. Not the first two, but the third one, where they brought in all new characters.
For Fantastic Four?
For Fantastic Four. The one from... What's the guy from?
I know which one you're talking about. I mean, it sucks so bad it's not even memorable.
They're all younger?
Yeah. Like, it was terrible. It was really awful.
It was really bad. But Sony was doing that so they didn't lose control over that property.
Right.
They were about to lose control over it if they didn't put out a new movie. So they put out a new movie, and that didn't go very well.
Yeah, but I don't see the point in not putting out a good movie for something that has so much source material. Like something that has started from such an early age of comic books, right? We're talking about the Fantastic Four. Here we are with Stan Lee's kind of baby, basically, is the Fantastic Four. So you have this whole plethora of years and years and years storyline that you could make into movies, right?
Right.
So they just have butchered it over and over and over again. So when I saw the first trailer, obviously, okay, it's Pedro Pascal, and you're like, great, I love Pedro. Like, how can he do anything wrong? But then it has this like 1960s setting kind of feel. So I'm like getting a WandaVision-esque kind of thing, and I'm like,
You weren't having that.
I don't know that I'm having that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm having this universe where it's like 1960s style. I don't know where they're going with it, right?
Right.
I don't know where they're going with it. So I'm like, I don't really think I'm going to like it. So I totally went into this movie
Thinking you were going to hate it.
thinking I was going to hate it. Like, I was like, I'm going to, like,
She was brooding at the beginning.
brooding, like, so bad. Like, did not go to the bathroom
I was like,
because...
why did you take me to this movie?
Yeah.
Why did you bring me here?
Did not go to the bathroom because I was like, I'm just going to go to the bathroom in the middle of this movie because this is going to suck. You know, I'm like that. Like, I'm pouting and having a little bit of a tantrum. I'm like, I'm just going to eat all the popcorn before the movie because I'm just going to get up during the movie and get some popcorn. And so the movie starts.
Uh-huh.
And the movie starts and it's basically the trailer, right?
Right.
The trailer is basically...
The whole trailer is
the beginning of the movie.
Just like they did with Superman.
Mm-hmm. So I'm like, great. So I do. I get up and I go get popcorn because I'm like, I know what's going to happen. I come back and I sit down.
And they do that for a reason because they've been establishing the universe already.
Right. And then I sit down.
Oh, and this is World 824.
And what is the significance?
And we're going to go back to that. Well, 824, Jack Kirby was born on 8/24.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they call this world 824.
So they call it 824.
So I did get to see that part. So I think that was nice that they prefaced it with that, because I think that that's where a lot of these movies get flack, is people forget that there are alternate versions of Earth, there are alternate universes,
Right.
there are alternate timelines, and so we have this expectation that everything's going to be set in our Earth, in our timeline that
Right.
we're currently in, and I think that can throw us off. So for me, I feel like just that little blip on the screen that said that this is like Earth 828, it automatically put me in this new mindset that I didn't have going into the movie. And I thought, oh, now I can accept that it's this 1960s style Earth, because that's what their Earth is like, right? They're not on our Earth. That's what their Earth is like.
Right.
So I think that for me, that really helped set the tone for me, because then I was able to accept it. So much so that I sat down after getting the popcorn and I just kind of let go of everything, and I just really enjoyed the movie. And one of the things for me that I think I really enjoyed about the setting of Earth 828 and that 1960s-esque feel is it's very Jetsons. So if you grew up in our time period and you're an 80s kid and you watch the Jetsons over and over and over again, and that was your idea of what the future was going to be like, it was still this kind of 1950s, you know, the dad goes to work, the mom stays home, you know, kind of feel, but with this futuristic stuff, these flying cars and these things. And so you get to see them combine that together in almost a Jetsons fashion, right? And so then that brought kind of this nostalgia for me when we were watching the movie, and I very much felt like I was almost in a live action mode of the Jetsons world.
Right.
Like even their little robot that they have,
It kind of looked like Rosie.
kind of looks like Rosie, kind of reminds
Yeah.
you of Rosie. And he's cute because, and then you get that kind of Star Wars-esque like robot thing in there too, because he doesn't really talk. He kind of whirs and pings and has facial expressions. And they put VHS tapes in him to run different protocols.
Yeah.
Which is so funny. Like, it's so like tongue-in-cheek, kind of cute, kind of a nod to to like the old meeting the new, I guess, kind of.
Kind of like steampunk would be.
I guess, kind of. It's kind of steampunk where we've
Not that it is steampunk, but it's kind of that relationship.
Yeah, that concept of where we've moved forward, but not moved forward at the same time. Yeah. And so you see, like, in there are flying cars, like very Jetson style. Like, there's still cars on the road, but there's also the flying cars. The cops are flying in their cars. The Fantastic Four, they have a flying vehicles. Very good. And then, of course, Reed, who's Mr. Superbrain, you know, he's invented stuff that's beyond comprehension.
That's the one thing I had. I was like, I knew Pedro Pascal can do no wrong. I was like, I wondered. I was like, how's he gonna play Reed Richards? I was like, we've seen several iterations of Reed Richards already. I was like, how's he gonna play him? And I was surprised. He did extremely well. Extremely well.
Mr. Beardenstein said, hey guys, my family saw F4 this morning and we all loved it. Oh my God, we loved it.
Yeah, it was great.
This is, to me, this is one of the absolute best movies I've seen in a very long time. Like the absolute best movies. It leads you to stuff without banging you over the head.
Right.
It gives you a chance to figure things out. It gives you suspense, even though you know because they're the good guys that they're going to win. It gives you enough of a feeling that they're not going to win that it does give you this anxiety for them. I mean, it's so hard to explain, and it's hard to explain because there are other actresses that I've seen. Like, I kind of had a hard time with the actress who played Lois in Superman. I had a hard time separating her from Miss Maisel. But when I see Pedro, he is a different character. There is something about him where he just slips into that character and he embodies everything you expect that character to be.
Yeah, he imbued everything that was Reed Richards in there.
I've seen him in The Last of Us, and I loved him in The Last of Us. Obviously, we've seen him in Mando, even though you don't see his face, right? We've seen him do other things, but when he's Reed Richards, he's just Reed Richards.
Reed Richards.
He's just Reed Richards.
You don't see him as anything else.
Which I don't know how he does that. I wish I did so that I could tell other actors how to do that. But, and then we've seen The Bear. And so I'm so sorry, I don't know that actor's name that's in the show The Bear, who's the cursing crazy cousin, and then he's Ben.
Yeah.
And he's just like...
You know what I've noticed in this one? They don't refer to him as the Thing in there. They just refer to him as Ben.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting.
Well, and I like that he has... We all know that Ben has this malaise, right? Because he's the only one that came back and had such a transformation that there's no way for the world to see him as anything other than that, right? Like, Sue doesn't always have to be invisible. Reed doesn't always have to be stretched out. Johnny doesn't always have to be on fire. But Ben always has to be stone. Right? And so it separates him from the rest of us in a way that the others aren't separated from us. So we always get this sense of his sadness, but I guess almost comedically sometimes. Like, they don't let us feel kind of serious for him. Where in this
they don't make us feel bad for him.
Yeah.
During the thing, like they did in the other ones, they completely like played on your emotions for the Thing.
Yeah. Whereas in this one, you can tell that he's sad, right? But he's also accepting of it.
Right. He's not brooding about it.
He reminds me of Beast in X-Men. Very bright, very capable, top of his game. Does he want to be a blue weirdo? No, he doesn't. But has he accepted that that's where he is, and he's still at the best at what he does? Yes. And that's what we see at Ben. Does he love being a rock dude? No. Does he have some funny moments where he's shaving his beard with a rock grinder? Yes. And it's hilarious. And Johnny convinces him to grow out his rock beard. Again, hilarious, but also pretty cool. But then when he gets behind the ship and he's steering and he's in control, he's in control. You don't feel sorry for him. You're like, yes, yes. Like, you are so proud of like every accomplishment he has. You think he's the most fantastic pilot. Like, he's it, right?
Right.
I don't know. There was such good dynamics in this, right?
Even with the Silver Surfer, I feel you got more feeling from the Silver Surfer in this one. And I know a lot of people had a problem with the Silver Surfer being female. Well, in the comics, she does. This character is the Silver Surfer for a time, because Shalia Bal, who the Silver Surfer is in this one, the original Silver Surfer, she was his love interest, but she was also imbued with that cosmic power, and she later takes up the mantle of the Silver Surfer for a ride. So in this world, this just kind of got switched, and she became the Silver Surfer first, or initially.
Yeah, and I didn't even think about it. Like, seeing her play it, it didn't even dawn on me when I was watching it. Oh, like, normally when I've seen this iterations of the Silver Surfers, it's a man.
People are trying to go there. Oh, they're being woke, and I was like, she was a character in the '60s, in 1960s, of that character. So, sorry guys, it's already in canon.
Yeah, and there's lots of times, and I've complained about this. There are times where I feel like there have been movies that have put women in roles just to put women in roles, to be woke, to be whatever. I don't know that it's woke, but just to be proving that they have girl power or whatever. This never seemed like that. They never they focus on it for just a moment, because everybody knows that Johnny's the playboy.
Right.
And so they're ribbing him about being the playboy, and he does try to kind of use his, because he's used to, you know, finessing women or whatever, and he does. But that's really the only context, and it actually comes back to burn Johnny, and, you know, kind of makes fun of these kind of playboy guys that are all like, well, you know, I'm so God, but then he lays that down, and we get to see his intellect. Which you're not as used to seeing, right? Johnny kind of tends to be the sidekick and you know,
Hothead.
Yeah, and so it was nice to see him use intellect that you didn't know he had.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that I really loved about this movie, is a lot of this movie is about intellect. And so I felt like it allowed me to use my intellect as well, right?
It really did.
It allowed me to watch it. It allowed me to use the clues. It had some really fantastic, like, serious moments, but it had some really fantastic, goofy moments too.
Boom, boom. Yeah, fantastic.
Stop.
This movie was fantastic.
Fantastic. No, it was. Funny. So funny. There was some funny stuff. One of the funniest things is they want Ben to say it's clobbering time.
Yeah.
Because they've made a cartoon about the Fantastic Four, and in the cartoon, the thing says, it's clobbering time, and then he goes, the whole movie, they're trying to get him to say it. No, he's not going to say it. He's not going to embarrass himself. So spoiler alert, they finally do get him to say it, but it's super on point. Like, it's super hilarious.
Yeah.
It needed to be said at that moment. He begrudgingly lets it become his catchphrase, but it's funny.
I think when they go through and show that these superheroes aren't, like, mega powerful, and you know they're going to win, like you were saying, that you could... We know that they're going to win, but you don't know when you're watching that they are going to win at some points, because you're like, what's going on here?
I mean, I was really afraid for them.
Yeah.
I mean, there are parts...
But what I'm trying to say is they've always done a good job of that, like when they did that with Daredevil in the show.
Daredevil just gets whooped to no end in the show.
And they get whooped in this movie. Hardcore.
Well, and there are even times in the Marvel movies where you think that they're going to meet, and less as we've gotten further into the Marvel universe, less. But there are still moments where you think, are they actually really going to make it out of this one, or is this going to be the time? You know?
Yeah.
Because we know that superheroes can die. Now, do they usually come back from the dead?
Do they stay dead?
Do they stay dead? Absolutely not. But they can. They can die. And again, this is another Earth, right? So I've already accepted going into this movie that this is another Earth. So maybe this is an Earth where not everybody in the Fantastic Four lives, right? And so we get to these moments where it looks like they're going to die or they're going to fail, you know? And maybe they fail and their Earth is destroyed, but they've got to go out and, you know, live with that choice, you know? They make it off or whatever with the technology that they have. You're not quite sure. Sorry.
Well, this from what I hear, is that Reed Richards is supposed to be leading the Avengers in, like, the next 2 movies.
Really?
Yeah. Well, because Captain America is not a thing anymore.
Well, neither is Iron Man because he's Doctor Doom now.
Right.
So that's kind of a thing. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess I watch these and I don't think forward to what it's supposed to be. I just watch them for what they are in the moment.
Right.
So.
You're going to make me yawn.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. But in the moment, there are definitely numerous times in this movie where you think they are not going to make it. They are not. And they have fantastic technology. Like we already know that they've got the technology to go into space and we know what happened to them. And so they don't really reiterate that part of the story for us, right? We already know by the time we start this, we already know that. What we don't know,
they allude to it.
Yeah.
But they don't show it.
They kind of wrap it up for us in a couple of sentences, right? But what we don't know is they have this ability to go into space and to go to this docking station that then they can go faster than the speed of light. And they call it FTL, so you have to be paying attention that it's faster than the speed of light. But it's fantastic to see them do that.
It's like that EM drive that they talked about a long time ago, but they don't talk about it anymore.
We don't talk about EM drives. We don't talk about light space travel.
Yeah.
But then it's nice to see some of the science in there. Obviously, some of the science is theoretical and stuff like that, but it's nice to see them trying to pull enough of that in that it is at least it's engaging people into considering some of the science. And so I liked that intellectual aspect of the movie as well.
I think we've lost that in movies a lot.
And that's, I think, why I've hated so many for such a long time.
Because it's taking you through and it's giving you just mindless entertainment. And this one you get to think a little bit. You don't have to. You're not actively. I don't think you're actively thinking through it. You're just
because if you thought about
happening to be thinking about it.
You know, if you analyze it too hardcore, if you analyze anything too hardcore, you're going to find some flaws because it's fiction, right? And so if you're trying to analyze fiction on a practical level, you're going to find flaws, right? And there were a couple of moments in there where I was like, oh, that, and then I was like, no, don't do that to yourself. Like, it's a movie. You're supposed to enjoy it just for the fun of it. This one is keeping you on your toes. It's got some really, really good effects. There's, obviously we all know from the trailer that they're going to have a child, right? So Reed and Sue are going to have a child. Well, he's worried because now they're having this child after everything that happened. I'm really struggling tonight. So he's been doing all these tests and he's fretting and fretting more than like an actual dad would have to, which already dads and moms are fretting. And so they have this really, really cool moment in there where Sue is sitting with him and she's just like, basically, I need you to calm down and look and see that our baby is fine. And then she uses her power to like make her body invisible in her stomach area so he can see his son in
Right.
there growing. And I just thought,
That was a cool effect.
you know, that's
Yeah, I
a
like
really cool effect. That's a really something that once they did it seemed so natural, but you might not have thought about it before.
Right.
But if I had that power and I could do that as a mom, because I've been a mom 3 times, I would check. If I could check like that, I would check and make sure that he was okay. And so for her to share that with Reed, I thought was a very special moment, and it was something that felt very much in the character, right? It wasn't contrived.
Yeah, and even though it was a superhero movie, it made that moment seem more human, and them being actual people.
And I think they needed to set that tone, because then we need to move into the moment where they're trying to take their son is going to be taken away from them, right? So we need to see that humanity in them so that we can see this is why they wouldn't let their child go. Yeah, they're supposed to be superheroes. They're supposed to save the world, but at what expense?
Right.
At what cost to themselves? And don't they get to still love themselves and love their family and love their life? And what all do we expect them to give up? Which I think is what Superman movies are trying to tell us a lot of the time, and people miss that point.
They miss that point.
They miss the point altogether.
Every time.
Just because they're superheroes doesn't mean they owe us. It doesn't mean they owe us their lives. It doesn't mean they owe us their children. It doesn't mean they owe us their happiness. It's just like when you see Cap at the end and he's an old man and he's like, I'm done, dude. I've given all I have to give. Now I've had a family. I've had my life. And I'm done. I shouldn't have to give everything that I am and never get to be a person just for everybody else to get to live. And so,
and supposedly Chris Evans is coming back.
Oh, really?
Too.
Dude.
But maybe not as.
Chris Evans in Deadpool killed. Chris Evans in Deadpool killed me because he's Johnny Storm, right? In the Jessica Alba one, that's not too bad. I actually didn't hate that one. It wasn't too bad.
But they make you think it's Cap.
But in Daredevil, you think he's the Captain America Chris Evans, but he's not. He's the Johnny Storm Chris Evans, which is hilarious. So yeah. But the thing is they needed all of that to lead you, because you need to remember that in this moment, Sue is a superhero, but she is a mother.
Right.
And we have heard about mothers who can lift cars off of their children, and you need to go into those final moments of the movie accepting that that's the reality, to accept what she's able to do.
Right.
And when you see her do it, it's not like other superhero movies where you're like, oh, you know, they're playing up the powers. It's because of her humanity as a mother,
right,
that you accept that that's what she can do. I liked that.
Yeah, I like that.
I liked that a lot.
Another thing that I think they did really well in this movie is when we've seen Mr. Fantastic and his stretchy ability, it's all been campy, super campy. This one wasn't done campy.
It was almost Spider-Man-esque, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I like what they did with that. I like how they showed how it was almost not like he was like never gonna like.
They showed us a limitation.
There was a limitation of it.
They showed us a limitation to his elasticity in a really awful way, in a way that like brought tears to my eyes.
Yeah.
They showed us a limitation to his elasticity, and again.
And he emotes that thing so well.
But again, it's because we got to see his humanity, because you become frustrated with him as a father because he's spending so much time testing and trying to figure things out that he's, and I think this is a mom and a dad thing, right? Mm-hmm. Y'all are so busy working and doing what you need to do and everything, and moms are like, you're missing out on these moments of your child's life. And I'm like screaming at Reed, just spend time with your son, just love your son, just hold your son, right?
And he thinks he is because he's trying to fix it.
And he thinks he is. And in this moment where you see the limitations of his elasticity, you see him emote in his face almost like, I wish I had just held him a little bit more, you know. I wish I had just spent a little more time, right? And I think that was some of what they did really well with this movie is they found, and I don't know if the writers or something, or maybe parents themselves or new parents,
Right.
and that came to light for them. But as people who have been parents and who are now grandparents, that all really felt at home for at least for me. I think it did for you as well. That feeling of I would do anything for my kids. I would also love to help everybody on earth, and I'm doing the best I can, but ultimately this is my kid.
Right.
Right? And I'm going to do what it takes for my kid, even if that means sacrifice myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's another reason why you're so willing to go into this and believe that they might die.
Right.
Because they are willing to die.
Right.
Because they're accepting of the fact.
For Frederick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Franklin.
Or Franklin, sorry.
I don't know.
Franklin.
I don't know that if they say why they name him Franklin. To me, I thought it was like a nod to Ben Franklin, but I don't know. I didn't look it up to see if Franklin was like her dad or his dad.
But Franklin is in the comics.
No, I know their son Franklin is, but they didn't really say why they named him Franklin. They just said his name was Franklin, like when he's born. Which, by the way, the birth sequence.
Yeah. That was a crazy birth sequence.
Yeah. But again, it's one of those things where inherently you know it's going to happen in that place, in that time. Like, you know it's going to happen, right? Somewhere in there. But when it happens, you're like, oh, well, I really didn't think about that variable that then they have to think. So it's really very good. It's very funny. I don't know how much we want to ruin it or spoil it because it's still fairly new movie.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. That will probably keep as a surprise for you.
Yeah,
if you haven't seen it.
But it's another one of those things where they don't beat you over the head with it, which is what I liked about this movie. Is they leave you little tidbits so that you kind of assume that that's when the birth sequence is going to happen. You're not really sure, but you're kind of sure, and then it happens and you're like, I knew it. So yeah, that was pretty good.
And then the whole dynamic of the big baddie and why he's doing what he's gonna do was a good understanding why.
Well, and
He
it's
would do
good
it.
because it gives you that moment to consider if I was in his position,
Right.
I would probably do the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we've seen this tale many, many times before, too, of these immortal, basically, beings who just can't take it anymore.
Right.
They've just been around for too long. They've dealt with what they have to deal with for too long. Because he wasn't always like this.
Right.
And so they give you that moment, just a sliver of a moment to kind of feel bad for him and go, yeah,
I could see why.
I kind of get what he's doing. Like, you hate him. You still totally hate him. Like, big time. And you're like, oh, I feel like there's something you could do, right? There's something you could figure out or whatever. And then you hate the hate the Silver Surfer too.
And I think that kind of shows what they're trying to show that duality between the Fantastic Four and him, to show that they're willing to go through and find another way, and he isn't.
Yeah.
He has one way, and that's what's going to happen for him. That's what he wants to happen.
Yeah. And he's succumbed to it for millennia. Like, he hasn't tried to find any other way. He hasn't tried to do anything else. He just follows that base need. And then once Johnny shows us who the Silver Surfer was, again, You see her humanity, you understand her reasoning, but you also don't, to an extent.
Right.
Right? It's like kill the many to save the few. And then is that something that we really believe in? But if the few is your family, it all comes back to this, like, this kind of family, right? This connection that we have to the people that are close to us, right? Even for her, it's like, am I going to sacrifice hundreds of thousands of worlds to this world-eating monster so that mine can survive? Or am I going to let mine go? But then if I let mine go, he's going to go eat all these other worlds anyway. So how can I not make that choice, you know? It's the
And that's the thing. And the Fantastic Four found another way to do that.
Right.
And make that happen. And when you got to see the movie. I don't want to spoil it in that respect, but you got to see the movie.
Yeah, because the Fantastic Four, again, because of Reed's intellect and what they have available to him, they have resources that the Silver Surfer didn't. Although she was also like a scientist of her world and everything, and they give us that insight, but still she wasn't Reed. And so she didn't have the resources that they had to find another way. And, they make it fairly blatantly obvious that it's not like killing him is going to be something that anybody could potentially do. Like, you know. So, they find another way. So, which is really cool. And it's cool that he's this big, monstrous thing who's been kind of trolling around the universe for millennia and millennia. And they think they're going to trick him pretty easily. And then they don't. And then he ends up being not as big of an oaf as you think he is.
Yeah.
So I like that aspect of it too, where, you know, you get to that part and they could have just let us into, they trick him pretty easily, whatever, you know, very superhero style-esque, you know, whatever they want to happen just happens and it goes the way they want it to or whatever.
Right.
And what happens at the end part, I kind of...
Oops.
Ruh-roh. What finishes things off at the end, I kind of also was one that I saw coming. You had to be paying attention to see it coming, but I saw it coming. But
the post-credit scene?
No. What happens at the end to make the end thing happen that you thought was going to happen earlier in the movie? Never mind. Just pay attention. If you're paying attention, things will happen and you'll be like, I was paying attention and I thought that was going to happen. It might not have happened when I thought it was going to happen, but it definitely happened and I knew it was going to happen. So just pay attention. This is definitely a movie you have to pay attention in.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. It's
definitely
it's completely and totally worth it. Like, it was fantastic.
And just to let you know, in this movie, there's 2 after-credit scenes, or post-credit scenes, or 1 mid-credit and then 1 after-credit, completely at the very end.
That just pissed everybody off because I don't know.
I thought it was a cool little.
I don't know if it was worth waiting for, though.
Is it worth? If you're a completist on watching everything, it's worth watching it. If you're not, it doesn't have an effect on any of the other
it doesn't,
movies.
It doesn't mean anything. The mid-credit scene.
Yeah.
You gotta say. And it's nice to see in the mid-credit scene, you get to see Franklin has grown some, and you kind of get to see a little bit of who he has become. Definitely Reed's son, for sure.
Yeah.
But overall, we don't want to ruin it too much for you guys. Do see it. It is fantastic. I've said that like 14 times. Yeah. Really, that's all I could say after we watched it. I was like, that movie was fantastic. Like, it was fantastic. I don't mean to be lame and say that the Fantastic Four was fantastic.
But it was
fantastic. Like, literally.
Marvel did it right.
Marvel seriously did it right. And I've always liked the Marvel stuff, but one of the things that I think I love about going to this movie is that I didn't have to watch anything else to understand the whole context of the movie.
Right.
I had kind of gotten tired of Marvel doing all that because sometimes I get lost and it's been too long between stuff. This just got to stand by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Just got to stand by itself and stand on its own merit and be a great movie.
They have nods, but nothing that is needed to watch the other movies into this one. If you're a completist, then you can watch it, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
It's its own thing. They did it their own way, and they did it the best way out of all of them.
I hope maybe this movie helps people watch this and maybe go try Superman and maybe get the aspects of Superman that people have been trying all along to show us about Superman, because that's one of the main storylines of Superman is he was raised by human parents, he is human, he has our flaws.
Right.
And just like the Fantastic Four, they are human. They just went into space and had cosmic energy, and so they're still human. They have our flaws. They have our wants and desires and needs, and at some point we have to accept that about our superheroes, right?
That they're people.
That they're people. So I really liked it.
Well, awesome. I really enjoyed it. I think you'll enjoy it if you haven't seen it yet. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and go out there, see it in a theater. It's a really good watch. But thanks for checking us out. If you haven't clicked on the subscribe button, click on that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so the next time we go live, you'll know. I'm Vince.
And I'm Colleen.
Geek Out SA.
Geek Out SA.